drawn to the screen, and that was kind of weird. So instead, we're going to do it with objects this time, and we're going to be creating kind of like a script with 2 characters.
Richard, I just...
Whoa. Double Vivian.
I just realized that, or somebody in Twitter said that our sound was off. So it's been gone until just now. But now everybody can hear what we're saying. Thanks.
Oh, yeah?
Thanks, chat.
All right. Well, quick recap then. So we're going to be doing something kind of based off the stream we did last week, which is we're going to be making dialogues with people talking to each other. And it's going to be kind of based off JRPGs. So we're going to have a dialogue that's showing at the bottom of the screen, printing out text, and we're going to have character portraits on the left and the right, and they're going to be having a conversation. So there's going to be some branching, there's going to be some going back and forth, but it should be a lot of fun. And I've tasked Vivian and Joey with deciding who is talking to each other and what the conversation is about, and they are both drawing character portraits that are going to be used. And ideally, they'll be drawing them with a wide range of emotions so that we can have like shocked face or something when big things get dropped. But for now, just do 2 character portraits and we can talk about that later.
Richard.
Yeah, no problem. So I've added an extension to my project if you're following along. It's this one, Microsoft/arcade-block-objects. And this one is a lot like sprite data, but it lets us just create objects and we can store things on those objects. And we're going to be using it to build up our script. I'm going to add one other extension real quick, just at the beginning, and that's going to be the story extension. So if you watched us before, you've probably seen us use this one, Ricknell/arcade-story. And this extension is nice because it lets us print out text character by character, which looks better for dialogues and conversation. So we're going to be using it for that. All right. Go ahead and put in the other one too. Okay. So let's go ahead and define a function. And this function is going to be called, I think, create script. And it's going to take in 2 things. It's going to take in the character that is saying it, so character name. And then it's going to take in some text, which is going to be what they're saying. I'll just put text. And the idea is that we're going to create the beginning of our script in here and return it. And then we're going to do some things to attach these scripts to each other so that we can kind of build out our dialogue. So for now, let's go ahead and create a variable. It's going to be called new script. And we're going to set our new script to be an empty object. So objects are things that you see a lot in JavaScript, but we haven't had much chances to like actually talk about what they are in blocks. But the idea is they're just things that you can store things on by name. So for example, I am going to store a name on this right now. And to do that, I'm going to go into the string category because this is a string. I'm going to change this to be new script, and I'm going to set the string, add a new property called name to get in there. Oh, I think I created, I chose the wrong type for this function. Let's edit the function. Yep, I made it a sprite.
I feel like oftentimes when Joey gets given assignments, like you have the box, right? And sometimes you want to make things in the box, but Joey always goes things out of the box. He tries to break our box. Sorry.
I have no idea what they're doing, so this will be interesting. Okay, so I'm setting the string name to be character name, and I'm going to add another string real quick. This one's going to be called text, and we are going to set this to be the text for the script. And then finally, we want to go ahead and call return on this, and we're going to return this new script variable. Like that. And that's great. Let's go ahead now so that we can get some stuff printing to the screen and make it so that we actually print out the script. And to do that, I think we're going to maybe just trigger it on a button pressed for testing. And we'll make another function, which is going to be called print script. And this one is also going to take in 2 things, going to be a name, and it's going to be a text once again. All right. So now we're going to use the story extension. And in here, there's this block that's called print dialog. And print dialog is really neat because it makes it so that the everything appears kind of statically at the bottom of the screen. By default, it kind of takes up the bottom half of the screen, so I don't actually need to change these parameters. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put in text in here for now, and we're going to put a label that's the name. But for now, let's just print out the text. So I'm going to go ahead and make a variable. It's going to be called like start script. And we're going to make a script to start. And the character is going to be called Vivian. And they're going to be saying, hey, I'm Vivian. Dinosaurs are very similar to dragons.
It's true.
And now we're going to print this script out. So to print this out, we want to get our properties off of our script. And to do that, we're going to go into block object again and choose string. And wherever you can set a property, you can also get it. And so I'm going to be doing this right now. I'm going to put in start script here, and I'm going to get the name. And I'll put in start script here and put in the text. And now if I press A, we should see this text get printed out. Hey, I'm Vivian. Dinosaurs are very similar to dragons. Great. Okay. So that's one part of printing our script, but we also want to have a name appear that's going to be the person who's currently talking. And so to do that, we're going to add another extension. And this one actually just shows up in the list. This one was written by Daryl, who's not here today, but we use it very often. Arcade text. And inside of onStart, I'm going to create a label called current name. And this is going to be text sprite with just no text for now. So we want to place this name so that it shows up somewhere, but for now I just want it to be showing things when we're printing text. So I'm going to go into text sprite and I'm going to call this function set text. And we're going to set current name text to name. And now when I press A, we should see the dialog printing out and something in the center of the screen that says Vivian. Great. And let's give this a color. So let's make it, I think white text is fine, but we should give it a background. So I'll make it teal. And to make it look a little bit nicer, we're also going to give it a some padding. So if we just give it a border 2 of teal color, change this to be current name, should hopefully look a little bit better. Yeah, that's nice. All right. One thing, though, is that at the beginning of our game, we can see this thing before it's actually printing anything out. And you know what? Actually, I think I'm going to actually use the padding. So I'm going to change the padding to be 1, and I'm going to make the border 1, and I'm going to make it a different color. Make it like green. See how that looks. Yeah, that's fine. So there's a few things we need to do. First, we need to go ahead and make sure that this appears in the right place. So for that, because text sprites are just sprites, we can go ahead and set its position. So I'm going to set the left of current name to be, I don't know, 2. And we're going to set the top so that it is right above where the dialog is printing out. And I'm just going to eyeball this, but I think that's, I don't know, something like 60 should be working fine. Richard, yeah, what's up?
We have oh, you can see me. We have a question in chat asking, is there a reference for what the extensions do?
No, that's a good idea. So most of the extensions, when you add them, do have documentation. So if you right click on them, you can click on help and it'll give you help on what you're currently working on. For example, I can do that with the block objects. And if I right click and do help on a block, it'll give me all sorts of information about how it works when this loads. Sometimes it takes a bit, especially when you're streaming your screen to Teams.
Not good at multitasking either.
There we go. OK, so you get the block, you get the parameters and what they do, and a description of what this does. And so most of our blocks have that. Not all of them, and we're trying to get better, especially with extensions. Sometimes the documentation isn't great, but we're trying to improve it. OK, so 45 was a little bit too much. Let's do like 50 and see how this looks. A little bit more. Yeah, that works. All right. So one last thing we want to do is we want to make it so that this isn't visible until they actually start talking. Because these are sprites, we can also use the sprite flags. So I'm going to go down here to current name. I'm going to change this flag to be invisible. And I'm going to turn it invisible on. And then inside of print script, I'm going to turn invisible to be off. So it'll show up. So now it's not there. And when I press A, it shows up. In fact, I'm actually going to just put the text up there just to make it a little cleaner. And now we're going to do something else that is kind of specific to the story thing. So right now, this is printing it out, but the name is going to stay afterwards. So once this is done printing out, we'll see that the name just hangs around. And we want it to go away. So inside story, there's this thing called QStoryPart. And basically, anything that you put inside QStoryPart, if you call QStoryPart again, the next one, any code I put in here is not going to run until the code up here is finished. So this code will not run until print dialog is done. And so if I change this to be set invisible on, then as soon as this is done printing, we'll go back to being invisible. Perfect. All right. So we've got one little bit of script, but now we want to be able to switch between characters. And so to do that, I think what we're going to do is we're going to make a new function. And this function is going to be called attach add next page to script, something like that. And one quick thing, the objects that we can pass as parameters are limited. We only have so many different types that we can use. And unfortunately, block object is not one of those types. We could get around that by putting it on top of a sprite and then passing the sprite instead. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pass by variable. And that's fine. You can do that in Arcade, and it's not that bad. But one thing to note is that you need to remember to set the variable beforehand. And if you're doing recursion, it gets to be a problem, but we're not going to be doing recursion. So hopefully it should be OK. So I'm going to make a variable called current script. And another variable called, maybe I shouldn't do this in a function, actually. It's not that bad. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. Let's get rid of this function. I'll get around the whole argument passing thing because it's kind of annoying. So I'm going to make a function now, and this function is just going to be called create conversation. And this is just to make my code neat. I'm going to put all of my script creating inside of here. And let's go ahead and do that right now. So we're going to set our start script to be this, call create script Vivian, blah, 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 blah. And now we're going to attach a next page to it. And to do that, we're going to create a new variable. And it's going to be called next page. And for this one, we're going to use a different character, Joey. And Joey is going to say, hi there, Vivian. I like video games. and I read the forum more than Richard does.
I like how realistic this game is so far.
Yeah, I've heard you guys have this exact conversation.
We just talk about Richard all the time in our free time.
True. All right. So for block objects, I need to go down to the any category because I'm going to be storing a block object on a block object. And if you have an anything, then it can just be, well, anything. You can pass any type into here. All of these other types are kind of built in, but for block objects, we're going to go down to any. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into start script. And for this, I'm going to say set any. We're going to add a new property that's going to be the next page. And we're going to set next page to be, you guessed it, this one, the next page. And so the next thing that we kind of have to do when we're printing our script is we want to go ahead and make sure that when this page is done, we immediately go to the next page. So I'm going to go ahead and make another function right now. Well, first I'm going to make a variable. Well, actually, I already have one. It's called current script, which is great. And the idea is I'm going to set current script to be start script. And this current script is going to be keeping track of where we are in the conversation. So first I'm going to set it to be start script. And now in the on A button pressed, when I print script, I'm going to write some code to make sure that I keep going to the next page while there is one. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to use a while loop. And for now, I'm going to change the start script to be current script. And the idea is that I'm going to run this code while current script has a property called next page. And luckily, we can get that from this any category. There's a has any property. So we change this to be current script. We change this to be next page. And if there is a next page, then we're going to set our current script to be the next page and call this print script again.
Joey, I really have no idea about this like sizing.
Yeah, I made mine pretty big because of my character that we made. But
I made mine
looking
up.
Looking up. That makes sense to me.
Okay, yeah. But I think in the game it won't make sense.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, mine's like looking at the screen, but I think it makes sense with my characters.
Okay. Well,
I mean, we shouldn't spoil it.
Okay.
I owe another quarter.
Oh no. It's been a while since we've had quarters.
Yeah. All right. Joey. Oh, that's not right. Oh, I know what's happening here. I should be putting this set current name inside of this Q story part. Okay. So now, Vivian. Hey, I'm Vivian. Dinosaurs are very similar to dragons.
True.
Hi there, Vivian. I like video games, and I read the forum more than Richard does. Good. All right. We got our 2 pages kind of printing out. Yeah, this is working pretty good. Do you guys have images in the chat now?
Joey has one. Mine's almost done.
All right, I'm going to wait till you're done. So I'll just put in some placeholders for now. Okay. By the way, can you guys make sure that I'm going to be showing the chat on stream, so can you guys make sure that the chat is like cleared?
Scroll. I was scrolling for quarters, but I've given up on that for now. Okay, Joey's message is huge, so I think you'll be okay.
Well, I'm going to scroll up to the top of it, so.
Oh. Yeah. Oh. Joey, can you check mine's frozen?
All right. So once we've printed out our current script, which is going to be everything, we're going to come to a choice. And so the choice is going to let you select the dialogue. You're going to be playing as the character on the left. So you're going to be making the choices for them, and the character on the right is going to be responding to whatever you chose. So let's talk about how to do a choice. So we're going to add 2 properties for a choice. I think for each of these, we're just going to make it simple, and there's going to be 2 things you can choose between. The simplest being, like yes and no. And we're going to do that by storing properties on our script. So at the last next page, we want to be able to ask a question. But right now, I think what we're going to do is we need to maybe make it so that this conversation ends in a question. So I don't know, what's a realistic question that Joey would ask?
Do you think my corgi should wear a top hat or a tomato?
I mean, I think we know the answer to that, and that's both. But I might ask that. That's reasonable.
Yep, I know Joey so well.
Do you think my corgi should wear a top hat or maybe a tomato? And so that's great. We want to add choices to this next page so that we can kind of read them out. And so for that, I'm going to go into our block objects again, and we're going to store an array of options, I think. Option array? Yeah, let's do an array. Why not?
Beautiful.
So on top of next page, we're going to set string array to a new thing, which is going to be choices. And the first one is going to be top hat, and the second one is going to be tomato. So that's great, but we also need to put the parts of the conversation that these choices will lead to. And so to do that, we're going to do an any array. And are we going to do that? Yeah, let's do that. Choice results. And we're going to set this to be an array of 2 things. So let's go ahead and grab out an empty array. And we're just going to make 2 create scripts. They're both going to be Joey talking. So the first one is if he chooses a top hat. And for that one, it's going to be, I'm sure he'll look quite dashing.
Aww.
And then for tomato, he's going to say, I don't know, what should he say for tomato?
How can we make sure he won't eat it? Or are they in season right now?
That's better, yeah.
Thank you. Which they are not. It is not tomato season anymore.
All right. Okay, great. So let's go ahead now and inside of this on a button pressed. So these print scripts are queuing story parts. So at the end of this, we can just queue another story part. And inside of here, we can make the, show the choice UI and wait for them to make a decision. So we're going to be creating 2 text sprites. Well, first, actually, we're going to make sure that there is a next thing. And to do that, all we need to do is, just like before, we're going to do is a has property. So we're going to do has string property on current script. And we're going to look to see if they have a string array property is what I want.
Doing this with a trackpad, and it's so difficult.
So if they have a string away property of choices, we're going to create our choice UI. And so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of hard code this because we're always going to have two choices. We could theoretically have more, but you know, we're going to keep this simple. This game's already complicated enough. So let's create two text sprites. Choice 1. Choice 2. And these are both going to be text sprites. And so the idea is that we're going to show both of these. They're going to set the text to be the text from choice 1 and the text from choice 2. And we're going to have a little cursor that you can move in between the two and press A to make your selection. I'm going to move this stuff out of on A button press now. And I'm going to move it into a function called current script. And then in on A button pressed, we'll call this function. And this will let us keep track of our state a little bit better. All right, so back to where we were. We have choices, so we need to set choice 1 and choice 2's text to match those choices. So let's go ahead and drag out this set text, change this to be choice 1. And we're going to go and get the string array property that we created. And we need to get the first value in this. So we're going to go into arrays to get value at, put this instead of list, change this to be current script, and we're going to get value at 0. Do the same thing for choice 2, but change the index to be 1, which is the second item. And now we're going to set their positions. So for choice 1, I think we'll stack them. So we'll put 1 like right around here, and then we'll put 2 right around here. So let's go ahead and just call set position, I think. Make the X the center of the screen, so 80, and we'll make the Y, I don't know, pretty far down, so maybe like 70. And then for choice 2, we will do the same X, but with the Y, we'll make it like 90. All right, let's try this out. Whoops.
Oh, no.
Oh, I didn't change the property, so that's what this is. Also, I'm remembering something that I should have done before, which is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change the speed for the print dialog and make it very fast so that this will go a bit quicker. All right, let's try. Yeah, great. So we got top hat, we got tomato. Now we just need to make the code for choosing between the two. So for that, we're going to create a variable. And that variable is going to be making choice. And we're going to set this to be true. I don't need to set it to be false because I'll be doing that later once we've actually made the choice. Booleans start to be false, and that's what this true false is. So the other thing we want to do real quick is I think I'm probably going to need another variable. And that variable is going to be printing stuff. So in here, we're going to set printing stuff to be true. And then at the end of this, at the beginning of this queue started part, we're going to set printing stuff to be false. And we're going to be using both of these variables inside of our on A button pressed. So on A button pressed, if we're going to need some logic blocks, get an and we'll get some nots. And actually, you know what? I should probably take this print current script and just like put it up at in the on start now that we're done testing that part of the code. So let's go up to on start, and we'll put it down here at the bottom. All right. So we're going to do a if and making choice. And let's go ahead and just do the default choice for now. So if you're making the choice, we're going to set making choice to be false because you've made your choice and you have to live with it.
It's very ominous, Richard. It's not October anymore.
And so once we've made our choice, we're going to go ahead right now and we're going to make a another variable, which is going to be called choice index. And we're not going to draw this just yet, but we're going to start choice index out at 0. And if we are making the choice and we've made our choice, we're going to choose the next script based off the choice that we made. So let's go ahead and go into our block object. And we're going to get an any property. And that any property is going to be our choice next page choices. So let's change this to be current script. Change this any property to be choice results. Go into arrays, do a get value at. And we're going to use our variable, which is choice index. And this will give us the next page that should play once we've made this choice. And all we need to do is set our current script to be that, and then call our function again. So we'll call our print current script. All right, this should work now. It's always going to choose top hat, but that's not a bad choice. Oh no, t.findIndex is not a function. Go up to where I'm setting the choice results. Array of create script, create skipped. This might be a runtime bug. I think this might be a runtime bug.
I missed it while drawing my thing. What's happening?
So when I press A, I get t.findIndex is not a function. So I think where it's crashing is this right here, this current script get any choice results, get value at choice index. And I'm thinking that maybe it doesn't like that it's being cast to any. So I'm setting choice results to an array of, this.
Oh, yeah, any doesn't work with arrays.
All right. Well, then we're going to do this in a different way. We're not going to use an array. We're going to add a choice 1 and a choice 2. Sometimes we find MakeCode bugs on the MakeCode stream.
I just ran into this one a few weeks ago, actually, in Falvic.
Nice.
All right, so we've got choice 1 and choice 2. And down here, instead of doing this array bit, we're actually going to go into logic, and we're going to do an if-else. So if our choice index equals 0. Then we're going to set current script to get any choice 1. Otherwise, we're going to do choice 2. All right, let's try this out. Nice. Great, so that works. One thing we do need to do, which is set our text sprites to be hidden, our choice 1 and choice 2. So let's go ahead down here and set the flag invisible to be on for both of them. And we're going to duplicate both of these, set it to be off inside of that function where we're making them show up. Right over here. And it's upset with me because of stuff. But I can get around that by setting the text to be the empty string at the top of this function. Yay. All right. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and do our choices real quick, and then we'll integrate in our character art and start writing a more complete script. So we need to have a cursor that we move around between these two choices for our choice index. And for that, I think the easiest thing to do is just to add some button handlers for on up and on down pressed. And we're just going to do on up pressed if, duplicate this and bring it over here, choice index equals 1. Then we're going to set our choice index to be 0. And we're going to do the opposite if down is pressed. And now we need to draw our cursor. And so for that, I think we're going to make a function that's called update choices. And we'll call this in both of our ones right here and also right here. And this is going to set the outline on whichever choice we're currently on. All right, so if choice index equals 0, we want to give an outline to our top text sprite, so our choice 1 text sprite. So we'll set the outline on choice 1 to be pink, and we'll set the outline on choice 2 to be transparent. And we'll do the opposite. For the other one. All right. Yeah, not super legible, but it works.
Oh, it looks awesome. It looks like neon.
Yeah. Maybe maybe I should make this a darker color though. Maybe purple. Purple would work better, I think. All right. Character art time. Are you guys ready?
Yeah. Well, Joey and I said emotions, but then I forgot about that. So I just made whatever emotions I felt like doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll have to maybe work around that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So let's go ahead and go down here, and we're going to get Joey's first, which is happy.
You can also double click on the entire Teams message, and I think it should be fine. Maybe. It works for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll try that. And these are 80 by 60.
Yeah.
So we're going to create an array, I think, for both of these. And they're going to be our moods, and we'll just match up the indices, and hopefully it'll be fine. I don't know. So let's go ahead and get an image. Do here. This is going to be 80. It's going to be 60. And let's go ahead and paste, and we've got a cloud. Interesting.
My comment before was that Joey wanted to make a cloud, and he was like, and the cloud's not going to talk, which kind of makes the rest of our work meaningless.
I didn't say that he's not going to. It said he didn't want to.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Joe. I guess that's realistic, you know. Clouds don't usually talk to me. Also, Unsigned Arduino mentioned in chat.
On the right size.
Oh yeah, that you can do Control A and press delete to delete the whole.
I did that. Thank you. Wait, how do you do the thing you just said?
Oh, at least I double click it, or do you triple click? You're using a Mac, so maybe it's different.
Maybe right click copy message.
You right click copy, and we'll see if this works.
Wait, this is a Vivian.
Did I filter out this?
Yeah, no, not working.
Oh.
That's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and do Vivian's.
Wait.
Da da da.
No, not good.
And amazing. All right. So this next one is a little upset on the cloud. It's amazing, Joey.
How is that a little upset? That seems extremely upset, Joey. Did you make an extremely upset cloud?
I don't know. I made a sad cloud. That sad cloud I felt bad about afterwards too.
Oh
by
my
the way.
gosh, Joey, I love this.
Disappointed. All right. Now we got a sad cloud.
I'm so excited. Oh, my heart can't handle this.
All right, Vivian's got shocked. Oh no, messed it up.
Oh no.
It happens. This is more horrified than it is shocked.
I've never been this old before. I don't know how your face works. I'll make some more when I'm 80. And they'll be more realistic.
I got shocked from Joey. He already used Thundercloud. So this will be interesting.
Joey, I have a question. What's inside the cloud that makes it yellow?
It's like a chameleon. It can change its color.
I see. Weird seeing you flipped in your own.
Aww.
This is such a happy.
All right. So let's go ahead and for now we're just going to name these two variables. So this one's going to be cloud portraits. And then this next one is going to be old guy portraits. And we're going to put these up in OnStart. And now we want to go ahead and create sprites that we can use to set these images to. So we're going to create two sprites. First one is going to be player one. Whoops. Or character one. And the other one is going to be character two. And we're just going to set them when they start talking to one of these character portraits. So when we make our script, we're going to be doing another thing now, which is inside of our create script function. Where is that? Where did I put that? Here it is. We're going to edit our function and add another parameter, and it's going to be portrait. And this portrait is going to be the index inside of our array of portraits to which portrait they want to use. So let's go into block object. We'll go in and do number. We'll set a number on our new script. And we're going to set our portrait to be portrait. And now, inside of print script, we're going to go ahead and edit this function. It's going to be taking two more things. One's going to be character 1. I'm not going to put it in that. That seems tricky. So I'm going to do is character 1. And then we're going to put in the portrait. All right. Technically, we probably don't need that as character 1. You know what? In fact, I'm going to get rid of it. Because we have the name. So we can just check our names. All right. So let's go ahead and do this real quick. And what do we want the names to be?
Old Man and Cloud?
Yes, this will be a fable.
So if name equals old man, then we are going to set our character 1 image to be our from arrays. We're going to get our get value at, and we're going to get the old guy portraits, and the value is going to be that one we just set. So, well, this thing we're passing in. So portrait. Otherwise, we're going to set it for character 2. And we're also going to set our positions on these sprites. So I'm going to set the position of this one to be on the middle of the screen on this half. So let's see, 60 minus half of that would be 30. And then X would be 80 plus half of it, or so 40, 30, 40. Sorry, that was a confusing way to think about that aloud. And for character 2, we want to set their position. I should do this after I set the image. To be 160 minus 40, so 120.
That's math.
Yeah. All right. Oh, right. This should be cloud portraits. Okay. Cool. So this is working. But now we want to go ahead and do the set our portraits on our scripts, and also make sure that we have the right things. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the text we have so far. And do you guys have an idea for what this conversation is?
Okay, we had like a setting. Like the old man is a gardener and needs his plants to be watered. So we're talking to the cloud to convince it to rain. I have no idea what the rest of the sentence is, but
Boy,
I'm
I could really use some rain. These plants need to hydrate. Hydration is so important.
True.
And the cloud is going to say, hey, I got some rain I could give ya, but you gotta prove that you're not going to use it in a way that is evil or lame.
That would be really awkward if every time we had to get like a cup of water, we were like, you got to prove that this water isn't going to be used for nefarious purposes.
But think of how strong our persuasion skills would be if we had to do this.
Yeah, we would win it Among Us.
True. Except I don't want Richard to practice his skills of persuasion. Please get worse at this, Richard.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at Among Us. All right. Okay, so we've started defining our conversation, and now we need to do the linking that we did before. So I think we're going to have, boy, I could really use some rain. Hey, I got some rain I could gives ya, but you got to prove that you're going to use it in a way that is evil or lame. How's that sound? And then we'll just make our choices to be like, I guess that makes sense. That's probably too long. And then none of your games, Cloud. All right, let's see how this goes.
Wait, we have a message in chat saying that we shouldn't use the array. It should be choice 1 and choice 2. But I don't.
No, so I'm still using an array for the choice text.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It might be a little confusion from the previous time that we couldn't use an array, but that was because we were trying to use any, which is a special case, and we have some kind of errors reverberating because it's a newer feature in Arcade, or in PXT, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so real quick, I'm going to go ahead and set our Z index so that they aren't on top of the text right now.
I would definitely choose none of your games, Cloud. They have, I guess maybe Clouds have more than one job. Maybe I'm not giving Clouds enough credit.
I mean, they gotta look pretty up in the sky. They gotta rain. Sometimes they gotta, there's gotta be thunderbolt to smite people. I think I've heard of that before.
The smiting. What if the Cloud smites the old man? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. He doesn't seem like that bad of a person. He just wants some rain.
That's true.
None of your games, Cloud. All right. I think we're out of time for today, unfortunately. But I'm not gonna. I think that we really need to do this on stream tomorrow. Finish this up.
Yeah.
So I think that we'll come in and we'll finish off this epic battle of wills, and maybe do some other fancy stuff like, I don't know, some special effects, maybe like some screen shakes and dramatic moments, or putting in some backgrounds and things.
Maybe we can add the talking faces so that you get the little mouths moving.
Oh yeah, there's lots of stuff. So yeah, tune in tomorrow if you want to see more of this amazing conversation, and hopefully I'll have fixed up the story extension by then so that it's prints out a little bit nicer. That's on my to-do list for today. Anyway, I'm Richard, at Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Joey, at JWondrel on the MakeCode forum.
And I'm Vivian, at Live Cheerful on the MakeCode forums.
And yeah, thanks for tuning in.